I'm gonna try this again because I just recorded this whole thing on my phone. I don't know why my phone doesn't let me upload things anymore, like to my computer. I don't know. Don't get the iPhone 6 or an iPhone at all, okay? I did my makeup and I didn't want to do my hair, so this is why it was happening. But I really wanted to get this filmed because okay, maybe I should check if it's focused because, you know, I'm fucking bad luck Brian over here. So I just wanted to talk about, I had two friends bring me stuff today, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. And it was Bailey and Luis and then Maria. They brought me, well, Bailey and Luis brought me and, well, the kids, food, like a lot of food, a lot. And then Maria brought me a $60 gift card to Safeway, and we were just like so thankful because if they hadn't, we would have went, and today is the 27th, it's Friday the 27th of May. We would have to go until June 10th, which is like 2 Fridays away, without food basically. So I just wanted to say thank you to them, and I'll tell you guys why in a little bit and what's happened that led up to this. I know it's not really like anybody's business and it shouldn't be out there, but this check for Saul, I get paid once a month and it's on the 10th. And this check for Saul, he got paid yesterday, and we're still like over $100 short for bills and stuff, and that usually doesn't happen, but it did. We wouldn't have had food, which is what I'm most concerned about. Like, I don't care about anything else. Like, we don't have toilet paper, we'll find a different way. You know, Mexicans always use like the napkins from the kitchen. Make sure it's still recording because this bitch always want to cut me off when I'm fucking talking. Anyways, I will never even be able to say thank you enough. I didn't want them to help me, but they're my coworkers, and I was talking about how I had a migraine yesterday before our meeting, and I was just asking if there was going to be food at the meeting because I was really hungry and I hadn't eaten in 2 days. And I think I've gone longer, but it was just then, and I had a migraine because I had like a speech due and I was already nervous about it, so I just think I worked myself up and I gave myself a migraine, and I just wanted to eat, and I knew that when I got home that I wouldn't be able to eat. Maria and Bailey were there and we had a little conversation about it, about like why I don't have money for food, and that my kids kind of, not that they go without eating, because I make sure that whatever it is in our kitchen that I make something for them to eat, even if they say no to it and they don't want it, then that's that. At least, you know, I tried, and there's food there available for them a little bit at least. And this stupid camera, like now I can't use my phone, I have to use this big ass camera. My arm is tired, so I'm gonna be like switching my arms throughout this video. So we went to my meeting. I still had a huge migraine. I got home, still had a huge migraine. I just wanted to sleep because, you know, when you don't have food and you know there's no food, all you just want to do is sleep. I was supposed to help Diana and Nalo with their homework. My bad, I fell asleep with my kids in the room like at 11. No, it was like 10:30. It was like 9:30. I don't know. So I got home, and then Bailey messaged me, and she just basically said, "What's your address and what do you need?" And I was like, no thank you. You're very sweet, but no thank you, because me and Saul are not those type of people. Like, we just, I don't know, it's our pride. Like, we don't want to say we need help. Lovely. So anyways, Luis messaged me off of her thing. He said, well, we want to do it for the kids. Like, we really want to help you. Please let us help you. So finally I just said, okay. So today, which is Friday, they came over, Luis and Bailey came over really early, and they brought food, and I thought it was really nice. Not that I wanted anybody to help me, and I didn't say anything at work so that somebody would help me, but they did. And she's really dirty, so we're gonna ignore her. We're gonna give her a bath in a little bit. I'm not a bad mom, okay?
Hello, Mommy.
I see you too, baby. No. Ew! She just got boogers on my cheek. Huh? Mamacita?
Huh?
Okay, so we're just gonna...
See you, Mommy.
I see you, baby. Maria messaged me And she's like, oh, I have something for you. And I was like, oh no, I don't want, you know, I don't know. There's just people out there, you know, that beg for help and they're like, can I have $5? Does anybody have $5 I can borrow? And I'm just like, no, I'm just not that type of person. And so I felt really bad already that Luis and Bailey had helped us. And then Maria was like, I have a card for you. And I'm like, okay, it's not my birthday. So she came by and my mom was here and she gave me a card. And so she's like, I have $60 on it. And I'm like, you did not have to do that. You really didn't have to. And so that made me feel worse. I know it should make you feel better. And it did, like, you know, I feel good that I'm going to have food for my kids until the 10th. But it just, I don't know. I don't want you guys to think that me and Saul don't work and we just live, you know, and we just want help and we don't work for it. This never happens to us. Why am I freaking holding this so weird? We went like 3 weeks without money, without getting paid because Saul switched jobs, so that messed us up. But I'm just going to start from the beginning because I wanted to make a video about this before, like about how we struggle with stuff, and because I feel like a lot of people look at us and they're like, oh, you guys are so perfect and blah blah. I mean, I obviously want people to think that, so we never post, and I said this before, I'm just making sure it's not dead because it just cut me off last time. We never post anything that would make people think that we're having trouble or, you know, for any reason. We just don't. Well, we try not to. So I just want people to know that things that you see like on the internet or pictures that you see or posts that you see and you're like, oh, their life is so perfect, it's just not always like, I guess what it seems to be. It's just a front that people put on. It's just hard as teen parents because I feel like we have the most to prove, so the reason that we don't ask for help is because we don't want to go to the same people who are doubting us and say, can you help us? Because then that would mean that they were right and we can't do it. That they're right about everything. Like, oh, you guys can't do it. You guys are so young. You guys got married so young. Just, I don't know. We just don't want to disappoint anybody. I feel like as a parent, like I've cried about this before and Saul knows this. Because I don't know, like, at what point, like, in your parenthood, you just are like, I'm failing my kids. I'm doing everything wrong. Like, look how I raised him. Just everything. Like, I've cried about that because I'm like, maybe kids shouldn't have kids. I mean, they shouldn't, but here we are, and we're trying so hard, and I don't want to prove people right. Like, you guys were right, we can't do it, we need your help. That's why we don't ask for help. And that's why we just pretend everything's okay, even kind of when it's not. Because this had started back, it was either like 2 to 4 weeks away from having Sophie. And she was a week early, so it was less time that I even had, because from the time that we moved out to the time that she was born, it was just like really fast because we were living with his parents. We moved out, then we moved back in, and then we moved back out of his parents' house. Long story. Anyways, we were in our own apartment again, and I didn't work. Saul was the only one working, and you know, it's not really a great job. He worked at a restaurant. We basically added up everything that we were gonna have to pay, and it was doable with his check. We just wouldn't have like that much left over. And it also put us, like, it just threw us off that we had to pay first month's rent, last month's rent, and then the deposit, and then just everything that you need for a new house. Like, when you move out, you know what I'm talking about. You need like every kind of food. You need, like, from little things like salt to toilet paper to a toilet scrubber and a shower curtain, just things like that. Like, everything adds up, in like a bath mat. Just little things add up to a lot of money. So we had no money. Like, I remember Saul barely had enough money to get a pizza from Little Caesars. It's okay, she can play with it. Okay. My sister and his sister were helping us move into our new house, and I just felt bad, so I wanted to buy them food, and I I don't think they knew this, but we didn't have money. I was pregnant. I was like huge pregnant at this point, and I was hungry, and I knew that I wouldn't have food, but I just said to him quickly before he had left to go get the rest of our stuff from his mom's house. I just said, I'm hungry, and that's all I said. And he came back with a pizza, and when he came back with a pizza from Little Caesars, and pizzas there are like $5, but still, we didn't have $5 to spare. So I don't know how he got the pizza. I think he just put together like change that we had. I see you too. He just put change together that he had in our car. That's the point that I knew. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be really hard. We don't have food. Like, thankfully we had WIC because that means that we had my arm is like getting tired, so like slowly going down. So if you guys see my double chin, I can't crop it out, and I wish I could. But as a parent, you feel like failing your kids because you brought them into the world and now you can't even provide food for them, and it's just a bad feeling because you want to prove people wrong. You want to be like, you said I couldn't do it and I'm doing it, but at the same time it's like, it's really hard because you have 2 kids now, like a 1-year-old and you're pregnant, which I'm not saying that anybody brought this. Oh, okay. You want a wipey? Okay, get down and I'll give you a wipey. Okay, so anyways, yeah, we've had food trouble before, I guess, like, and it's so sad because food is something that everybody should have, like, basic, you know. And back then I didn't buy anything for myself. It was just everything that we needed for the house and our bills, and that was it. Sophie was born on August 7th, and we had been living in our house for about a month. I don't know if it got harder when she was born with food and stuff, or if I was just more like emotional then, because I did go through depression after I had Sophie, because I was just at home all the time by myself with my kids. And not that I didn't love being around them, but it's just, if you have kids and you're a stay-at-home mom and you know what I'm talking about, it just gets lonely. Like you have nobody to talk to, like nobody to vent to. It's just your kids. You feel stuck and then you start to get depressed. I had an opportunity come up where I could work and my kids could go with me, so I took the opportunity and I was like, I'm doing this interview. I didn't know how I was going to get to work because I didn't have a car and we only had 1 car, and Saul used it all the time because he worked long hours. So I didn't know how I was going to get to work, but I was like, I'm doing this interview and I'm going to get the job and I'm going to go out there. And my point of working was basically to not only help Saul out, but also just go out there and, you know, stop being depressed and meet my coworkers and like talk to them and have relationships with them, because I needed that. Like, I needed to be around other people and stop, because I was just in a really bad state of mind, I guess. And I didn't really tell anybody, because when you tell somebody you're depressed and it's not like clinically depressed, then, and you just know you are, and you tell them, they're like, whatever, you're crazy. No, you're not. Like, I don't believe you. I don't know. I just hate like people thinking that I'm crazy when I'm not. I was just really sad at that point. And I think the breaking point was when I was trying to breastfeed Sophie, and I just couldn't make milk because I wasn't eating, like, at all. One time Saul went to the store to buy me a Powerade because that's all the money we had, and that's all like that we could afford was just a Powerade. I'm doing this a lot because I'm checking if my camera's dead, because I'm bad luck Brian up in this. Seriously, everything bad happens to me. I don't know. I'm just throwing a pity party today. Yeah, Saul had ran to the store really quick, and when he left, I just like sat there and I just bawled my eyes out, like cried and cried and cried so hard. And I had Jonathan in one arm and I had Sophie trying to breastfeed in my other arm, and I just looked at my kids and I felt so sorry that I couldn't provide for them. And I was like, that's when I was like, okay, I need to get a job. And then that's when the girl who lives next to me, I swear it was like the next day or that same night or the next day, I saw that she had posted that she got a job and she could take her kids with her. So I'm like, where's this job? Congratulations. I wasn't trying to say like, oh, I need a job. I was just like, congratulations, that's so cool, where do you work? And then she told me, and she said that they were hiring, and I was like, oh, you know, I got the information and I went and applied. I'm gonna put your clothes in my mouth.
Over here.
Okay, go play in your room.
Okay.
What is Sissy doing?
She's playing.
Okay, it just sounded like you guys were in the bathroom, so I was just checking because she likes to dump things in the toilet, and she's gonna dump my makeup in the toilet.
There's a bug in the window.
There's a bug in your window. Oh, hell to the no. Better not be no bug.
Can you kill it?
I can't kill it. It's on the outside, so don't even dare open your window. That's a bee. We don't need to kill bees.
Why? The bees?
We don't need to kill bees. We need bees in the world, okay? So, I don't even know where I was anymore. But basically, I got the job, and then I got to take my kids with me to daycare. I worked at a daycare.
Mommy, Bobby.
That's okay. Go get another pillow. And it's been better since then. Like since I started working. And I don't know if anybody really knows me, then they know that I just like to stay at home. And when I lived with my mom, I would always like just be in my room because I don't like being around other people a lot. And I think it's just my anxiety, because I have a lot of anxiety. I don't, if it involves me having to drive my car somewhere, then I don't want to do it. And I'll just say anything and do anything to avoid it. So that's why I didn't work for so long. I just like to stay in my comfort zone. And then finally, like, I think it was, I had worked at the daycare for almost a year. It was 11 months, and I finally decided that if I'm gonna make a change, or if I'm gonna, you know, provide for my kids and actually have good things for them, and then I'm gonna have to get out of my comfort zone. And so finally I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go to college, because I had been out of high school for like 5 years. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna be a nurse, and let me just start my prereq. So I went, and starting college was a whole like struggle, but I want to make a video about that so I can help people who want to start college but just don't know where to start, or you know, where to go. And I want to help people because I wish somebody would have helped me, but every time I asked something about college, nobody would want to help me, or they just be like, yeah, you just go in there and you ask, you know, and you talk. And I'm like, okay, but I'm a person who, like, you need to tell me exactly where to go. You need to, like, take my hand and take me there and show me who I need to talk to. But nobody did that, so I did everything on my own, which I feel really good about, because that's just, ever since January, last January, when I quit my job at the daycare, and which was so sad because I loved it so much. But ever since then, I've just been getting out of my comfort zone, and if I don't put the effort in and make a change, then nothing's gonna change. Saul had a lot to do with me deciding to go back to college, because he's a really good support, and everybody that knows him knows that he supports me so much. He supports anything that I want to do, and he was the one that believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And that sounds so cliche, but it's so true. He really did. When I was like, no, you know what, I don't think I can do it, I don't think I can, he's like, no, you're smart and you can do it, and you're gonna do it. If it wasn't for Saul, I would have kept putting it off, but he pushed me to go in there. I finally went, I got everything done. It was a big mess, it was like horrible, but I was in college. So I had quit work so I could start college, and my plan was just to go to college, and Saul was just going to be the one working. But then I was asking people for rides all the time, and I was asking people to watch my kids, and at that point I'm just like, okay, we need another car. So with our taxes, we got a car, which, no, it's not the cheapest car, but we didn't want to get a car that would have to be repaired all the time. Like, our Honda is almost like giving out on us. I just think that people look at us and they're like, well, trouble buying food and affording everything because you have a car. Yeah, but we're allowed to have nice things. Like, this is not even a very expensive car. We don't pay that much. The reason why we really don't want to bring up our trouble to anybody is because we don't want people to judge us or say, or just point things out like, well, you don't have this because you're spending so much on this. And it's like, if you want to bring up the fact that we have a car, it's because we really need it. I didn't go out and buy a freaking cheetah or something. I don't know why I said cheetah. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, if I post this, people are going to be like, well, you can't afford food because you buy makeup. And it's like, well, the makeup that I have, which is not even a lot, I have bought, like, with my own hard-earned money. And I bought it when we had extra money. I didn't buy it when I'm like, oh, should I buy this palette or should I buy lunch for the month. Just want people to know that I've bought that stuff, and it's really hard, and Saul knows that it's been hard for me to like bring myself to buy things for myself. Why did I know that I have to buy food first, and I know I make sure that I have everything I need before I buy the things that I want. That's why I just didn't want to bring anything up, because people are just, anything that happens, people just start judging you. Like, I could freaking graduate and become a nurse tomorrow, and people will be like, I can't believe you did that. I don't care. Like, people have judged us since me and Saul started dating. We're getting into some other stuff right now, okay? So let's just go back to the story. Didn't have trouble, and then we did when we moved out, and then I got a job and everything was solved. I didn't think that we would ever be back in that place. Like, that was so sad because we couldn't even afford food. I just wished, and I remember in the moment that I was holding Jonathan and Sophie when they were so little, and I remember just crying, and then Saul was like, you know what, it's gonna be okay one day. Like, we're gonna have everything that we want, and it's gonna be okay. Like, we're gonna do it somehow, you know? It's gonna be okay one day. It's gonna be different, and we're not gonna go through this anymore. We're gonna look back and just, you know, think like, what a sad time. But I hope that this video is that. I hope that one day I look back on this video, and which is why I want to make it. I just want to look back and think like how far we've come, and it's kind of like a motivation to do better, because I don't like being in this place, and I do work, like me and Saul work so hard, and it's not that we don't. I don't want people to feel sorry. I don't want this video to be that. I just want people to know that things are not always like what they seem. Sometimes, like, we go over to family's house and my kids are like eating so much, and they're like, well, why are they eating so much? And in my head I'm just like, well, because they haven't eaten in like a day. Or why did I put makeup on to film this video? I don't know. I just wanted to thank Bailey and Luis and Maria, because they really didn't have to help us, but they did. I'm just the type of person that always wants to help. Like, everyone just gets mad at me because I always want to help, and like, I will donate all my clothes, and people will be like, well, why didn't you sell it? Why did you do this and that? I'm like, I just want to help, you know? I just want to help anybody that I can, and that's why I want to be a nurse, so I can go to like third world countries, and I can go to Mexico, and I can help people that don't have the money to afford, you know, health care. I just want to help people. And when I was going through this, when I was just, I mean, it's been recent that it's happened. It's been like 2 weeks that we've been like, oh no, we don't have money. Even then, if somebody needed help, or if somebody needed something, I was just like, oh, how can we help? Or how can I do this? And I just never brought up my own issues, because I just don't think it's necessary for people to know. But I just felt like, after Maria and Bailey did that, and Luis, I just felt really like people actually care, you know? Like, I guess you don't have to be scared that people are gonna judge you. I mean, for the sake of my kids, because it was for myself, then I wouldn't say anything ever. And I think it's hardest for like Saul, because he doesn't want to say, you know, he thinks he's the dad, he's the provider. And he shouldn't have to rely on somebody to bring food for his kids, but he was really grateful too. He said it. He's like, I'm gonna have to pay them back. He's like, no matter what it is. He said he doesn't feel comfortable accepting like gifts just like that. He says he always feels like he has to repay somebody. Some people online are just create like GoFundMe accounts like, oh, I need help paying my rent. I have like 5 kids and I need help and I don't work. But here we are trying so hard, and we're struggling, and because we don't want people to judge us like they've always have judged us, we don't say anything. We just keep quiet. But I'm glad that Maria and Bailey had like just stepped up to help, because they didn't have to. I just want you guys to know that even though things look happy like on the outside, it's not always that way. But hopefully one day I can just look back on this video and just see how far we've come, because I know that there's better things out there in the future for us, and we're working towards it, and we're working so hard, and one day we'll have it. But I don't know what I'm saying. So I think I finished my whole story, did I? I don't remember. I'm probably like repeating myself in this video. It's all over the place, but if you guys have watched this whole thing, then I'm sorry that it's so crazy, and I'm sorry that I'm crying, and I'm... Oh, what? This video keeps cutting me off. I'm surprised it's not fully. I've been recording for like an hour.
Can we cut this brain?
Can we cut the brains?
Yeah, cut that.
So anyways, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. I think Saul will be with me in the next one. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna record this weekend because it's a 3-day weekend. And yeah, I think I said everything that I was gonna say all over the place, and this is probably a horrible video, but I'm gonna put it up anyway because
Hi.
my daughter has a shot glass.
Hello?
Okay, say bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Our house is messy.
Bye.
Oh my god, our house
Yeah.
is so messy. Somebody help me.